Hello, everyone. Today, I have an interesting and inspiring story for you. This will be a perfect English listening exercise, but it will also teach you that with hard work and perseverance, you can achieve anything you want. In a small town named Pachimo lived the Famina family. This family was made up of 27 children, one father and one mother. They all slept in the two bedrooms of their mud house. Because they were poor, rats would often invade their house and bite their feet when they were asleep. The father and mother of the family could not afford to send any of their children to school, except their first child, Zora. Zora was brilliant and hardworking. She was always the #1 student in her class because she remembered where she came from. Her dream was to become a banker someday and buy a new house for her family in Rokita, the fastest growing city in her country. She also wanted to become rich so she could send all her brothers and sisters to school or help them start their own businesses. Most of Zora's classmates were jealous of her, and so they always tried to exclude her from group activities. One day, in her final year of high school, Zora was in the cafeteria talking to a friend when Angie, a jealous classmate who was sitting behind her, threw a plate of spaghetti on Zora's head. Zora was drenched in food, and everyone in the cafeteria started laughing. This was the 4th time this was happening. Zora was embarrassed and wanted to fight the girl who did this to her. But she kept her cool, gave a confident smile, and with tears in her eyes said, "One day I'm going to be successful, and you're all going to regret treating me this way, especially since I've done you no wrong." As she was in the bathroom cleaning up the stains, Zora broke down in tears as she thought of all she was going through in school. Her family didn't know she was hated and bullied. They only knew she got good grades. She always put on a smile when she got home because she didn't want to cause distress to her parents who had worked hard to send her to school, and she also didn't want to disappoint her younger ones, who looked up to her with admiration. As she looked at herself in the bathroom mirror, she saw the face of Mrs. Bodie at the right corner. In shock, she quickly turned down her head and wiped away her tears before turning to look at Mrs. Bodie. "Mrs. Bodie, what are you doing here?" asked Zora. Mrs. Bodie gave her a tight hug and said, "Zora, I know what you're going through. You know I live 2 blocks away from your house, and I see the amount of pressure you and your family face on a day-to-day basis. You've been an excellent student, and because of that, your mates have envied you. But I want you to know I believe in you, that you'll go on to be the most successful person Pachimo has ever produced. You'll shock the world with the heights you'll soar to. You just need to stay strong and don't let the negative things that happen in your daily life distract you from the bigger picture. Keep working hard, and soon, everything will fall into place." After this conversation, Zora became much more encouraged. She worked twice as hard on her studies and registered for various academic competitions. She went on to win first place in 17 of the 20 competitions she registered in, which tested her skills in mathematics, English, accounting, and many other subjects. Zora also won a scholarship to Rhine University, the most prestigious university in her country. This was highly celebrated in her town and family. When she was packing her things, she looked out the window and said to herself, "Goodbye, Pachimo. When I come back, I'll be a different person." 3 months later, she met Aaron. He was casually sitting at her favorite study spot on campus one day with 2 of his friends. When she saw them, she was about to turn away to look for another spot, but he invited her to share the space with them. That was how Aaron and Zora became good friends, sharing their dreams and aspirations with each other. But one fateful day, everything changed. Zora and Aaron had both registered for the National Accounting Championship. The winner would win a prize of $50,000. This was the first competition Zora had signed up for that had a monetary reward. She planned that if she won, she would use this money to pay for the medical bill of her mother, who had been ill for the past 4 months. But Aaron, after his interactions with Zora, realized that she had a high chance of winning the competition. And he didn't want this because he wanted to use the money to buy a new car for himself, so he could be admired by everybody on campus. So, he organized with some of his wayward friends to kidnap Zora on the final day of the competition. Zora was in a hurry to leave her dorm room and get to the venue when she was suddenly knocked out by these men. Meanwhile, Aaron didn't end up winning the competition, but he got third place. When Zora regained consciousness, she recognized these men as Aaron's friends. In sheer disappointment, she looked at them and asked, "Why would you do this?" They felt ashamed because they knew and respected her, so they told her the truth and released her. Everyone at the championship venue was on the lookout for Zora because she was the highest scorer in the semifinals. After about 30 minutes of waiting and not seeing her, Kathy, Zora's roommate, left the venue to search for her. She came to their dorm room and saw Zora lying on the floor, covered in dirt and bruises. "Who did this to you?" she asked angrily. Zora was hesitant to speak at first, but she eventually told Kathy what had happened and how Aaron had betrayed her. Kathy was not going to let Aaron get away with this, so she reported him and his friends to the school authorities, who in turn handed them over to the police. But it was too late. The damage had been done. Zora's mom couldn't fight the sickness anymore, and she passed away. Zora became depressed. She cried nonstop for months. She found it hard to get out of bed and missed numerous classes. Her grades, therefore, fell, and she almost lost her scholarship. Then one day, her father visited her at school. He knew that Zora was in a broken state of defeat due to the news, and, though he himself was sorrowful, he knew it was his responsibility to strengthen his children. When Zora saw her father, they both fell to the ground, crying and hugging. After some minutes, her father sat her down and spoke to her. "My first child, my sweet daughter, I am so proud of you. Your mother must be proud of you too. I must confess, this season has been so hard for I and your siblings. Your youngest brother, Noru, doesn't sleep at night sometimes. He just cries and cries that he misses his mother. But we must not lose hope. Remember, the Bible says that all things work together for the good of those who love God. God is with us, and He promised that even when we walk through fire, it will not burn us. You have come so far. Keep going. No matter what happens, I love you and I will always be proud of you." It took a while for Zora to get herself back, but with time she became better. She started going to class again and picked up her grades. Zora ended up graduating with a first-class degree. She got employed in the biggest bank in Pachimo, and in just 5 months, she was promoted to managing director. She was able to buy the new home for her family and send her younger ones to school. Her father cried tears of joy, proud of who his daughter had become. One day, Angie, the girl who threw a plate of spaghetti on Zora in high school, knocked on the door of Zora's office. She wanted to apply for a bank loan. She was desperate as her company had just filed for bankruptcy and she didn't have even a penny to buy food for dinner. Zora was the only one who had the authority to approve this loan. When Angie opened the door and saw Zora seated on her desk, she opened her mouth in shock. Then she fell to the ground and started crying. "Zora, is this really you? I can't express how sorry I am for treating you badly in high school." Zora rushed over and helped Angie stand up. They hugged, and she motioned for Angie to take a seat. "It's fine, Angie. I forgave you a long time ago. Let's put the past behind us." "What brings you here?" said Zora. Angie was still bewildered by what was happening. Yet, she mustered the courage to tell Zora about the desperate situation she was in. She did not have anything to lay down as collateral for the loan, and this was a requirement for the bank. To avoid trouble by bending the rules, Zora therefore offered to give Angie a personal donation for twice the sum she asked for. The two of them ended up becoming good friends. After 20 years, Zora had accumulated a wealth of experience, expertise, and money. She had formed good relationships with people in her industry. So, she took a leap of faith and opened a bank in honor of her parents. She named it the Femina Bank. She and the president of her country fell in love with each other and got married. Now, Zora still faced several challenges, but she had learned that obstacles are only stepping stones to greatness. This brings us to the end of the story on the life of Zora. I hope this story has inspired you to reach for your dreams and to never give up, regardless of what life throws at you. Don't forget to subscribe for more, leave a like, and comment your favorite part of the story. See you in our next episode.